with the live. There we are. We're live.
Oh, we're live.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. I'm still in Japan, and today's a rainy day, so this is why I'm in the house. I'm not going out. I'm not going in the rain and going walking for that.
You got a
But
lot of color. Hey, you got a lot of color. Like, has the sun been out? Like, you
oh
look
man,
burnt.
it's been sunny the whole time, man. It's beautiful. Do I look burnt? Maybe a little bit, a little
Yeah.
crispy.
Whereas we had a snowstorm here on this weekend past. Right, it was the May long weekend in Alberta, in Canada, I guess. But and we didn't go anywhere because the snow was this deep. I posted videos, man. It was bonkers,
I can't
bonkers.
imagine. I
Yeah.
can't imagine because like and here's the deal. Like I'm going from here back to Canada, but then quick. It's a detour because I'm flying to Texas the day I return to Canada, and I'm not sure what. Yeah, I've been looking
Our
at the weather forecast. It's like 11 degrees when I looked at
Our
it.
our weather is getting colder for sure. Our weather is getting colder. I mean, it's anecdotal, of course. It's based on my observations, but I keep pretty tight observations. Right, I know when I've hiked. I'm not even contemplating hiking right now. There's too much snow in the mountains. Like it's not on my agenda. I've checked the maps. I've hiked many years in the past where I hike in April, May. I haven't hiked once yet. There's too much snow in the mountains. The garden, I took a chance and I planted like potatoes and a few things weekend ago. And then after this snow this weekend, I'm like, yeah, what a waste of time that was. Like it is
Brutal.
noticeable how things are getting colder here, and you still got people pushing climate change. Like we'll talk about that in the show. I mean, Carney was here this week pushing climate change again. Like it's insane.
Well, that's great. I can't wait to talk about that because Trump just came out and said, yeah, they've given up.
Yeah.
I guess Canada's the only one. Anyway, let's get into this. So this is just waiting for people to get into the room at this point. But welcome. This is the Marty and Clyde show. This is Wednesday evening, 6:30 Pacific time. It's at 8:30, 9:30 Eastern. And it's 10:30 in the morning here in Tokyo. The next day, it's Thursday here.
Oh, is it?
And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So we're doing the show this way, and Yuji's taking care of it. Thank you so much, Yuji. He'll be one pulling up stuff on the side, and really appreciate that because it's kind of difficult on the fly, and I'm just on a cell phone here. But yeah, the usual show. If you're new to the channel, we do this every Wednesday, and we do this in a live format. But then well, the way we do it is we like to, cover a bunch of stories in the first hour. And if you think that we're ignoring the chat, this is largely wise because we want to get a bunch of these stories together. They end up getting cut up and put onto the second channel. And if you're not subscribed to the second channel, just go to the channel page on this channel, and there's a link to the second channel, so you can check those out. It appears it's been blowing up. One of the videos when we were talking about the census, that video just blew up yesterday or the day
Oh,
before. So yeah, I
cool.
mean, it's great. A lot of people don't have the time to sit and listen to the whole podcast. So if you just want to catch some of the more interesting clips, that's where you go for that. But otherwise, after the first hour, that's when we'll actually address the chat. So the first hour is just Marty and I just talking about a number of topics, and then we'll get to that. Is there anything else to add to that, Marty?
No, that's it. It's good. Yep.
That's it. Well, let's go. Marty, I'm still in Japan. You're in Canada, and I'm not, for the most part, I'm not completely aware of everything that's going on. I've been on vacation and visiting family and friends and all of that. But I jump on Twitter from time to time to see what's going on. And Canada's just, what the hell's happening, man?
I, I almost don't even know where to start. I mean, like I was, me lately. I've been like, I've almost kind of given up on Canada, and I didn't want to talk a lot about Canada because I was all in on Alberta. But now everything in Alberta is falling apart, and now I'm scared, thinking I'm stuck in Canada, and then and Canada's falling apart. I'm like a lot of people. I'm like you at this point. I mean, I'm going to give this another 6 months. And then, I keep planting the seed with Karen's. Like, if something doesn't significantly change, like we're selling this house and we're moving, like we got to go. Like the trap is closing in on us. And this week was a week like that. Like it was a crazy week in Canada. Like, I mean, where do you want to start? Like
Well, first off, I want to say that you're not the only one. I'm not the only one that's feeling these things. I mean, obviously, I'm already on my way out. So,
yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
I'm in Japan having one last visit before I moved to Texas because that's where I'm going. So, in about a month's time, I won't be in Canada any longer. But I keep getting messages from people daily, people messaging me saying, Clyde, I want to work with you for a plan B because I'd love to move to the United States if Alberta doesn't separate. And I'm not talking about just Albertans. I'm talking about people from Ontario, from Nova Scotia, from British Columbia, from everywhere. They're looking at if Alberta separates, that's where they're going to move. They no longer want to be in Canada. They're just literally waiting to see where their destination is going to be. They don't want to go there to Alberta if and make that big move and then it not happen and then have to move again. That's
Well,
their mindset. So,
yeah, and then I'm also feeling it among our online community, right? Like I can
mhm.
tell that there are people in our online. I know two or three. I know a handful of people who've already stopped tweeting because they're gone. They're gone, right? So
Oh,
uh,
they're just living their beautiful lives
they've
now.
already, like you barely see
They
any
don't
of
need to
their
pay
stuff, and you
attention to
go,
it.
yeah, and they're gone. I mean, I know one. I won't give names, but I know one. You and I know a person who moved to Thailand. He's gone. He left Canada. I got another friend online who's building in Colombia, and he'll be full time gone shortly.
Mhm,
I know one guy who's looking at Belize right now and doing a group effort in a little community down there, but people are quietly
mhm.
giving up. And like,
I don't see it as giving up. I see it as like looking forward to moving their life forward. But yeah, giving
yeah,
up
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Canada. Like Canada, like, oh, listen, we fought hard for it and we tried our best, but like y'all don't want to improve.
Well, I guess
Sure.
actually, I guess let's start there, right? I think that's
Yeah.
almost the topic that you wanted to talk about first is Bill C-22, right? So the government
Mhm,
is like the government's almost in recess right now, but they are in recess, but they're still pushing a few things. And Bill C-22 is it's getting a little pushback, but they're winning, right? Like
mhm.
it's a big giant censorship bill titled
Another
whatever.
one.
Yeah, another one. And
Oh
then
yeah, the title's beautiful. It fits the narrative. It's the was it the act to make Canada safe or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that? It's unbelievable.
because
Create a
Carney
little bit
starts
of
every speech.
safety.
Every Carney
Or each,
starts every speech with, in a world more divided and more dangerous, blah 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 blah,
yeah,
right?
because he made it
And
that way.
yeah, you made it that way, and then you got all sorts of like all week long. Actually, more than this week. I mean, it's been a long. It's okay. I'm going too fast here. Remember a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about how our channel, we changed the chat. We went from Wednesday to
Mhm.
another day. We were being throttled, right? You were being throttled.
Yeah.
That's the chorus of being throttled right now is growing, right? Like Jasmine Lane this week is like, what's going on, right? So Jasmine is
Mhm.
is is asking what's going on. I posted something crazy today or this week. I went on Facebook and somebody had made a negative comment about independence, and I literally replied. I replied like I answered my thoughts on what they had said, and I couldn't post it. It wouldn't let me
What?
post it because the machine, the Facebook machine, was reading my response as news. It was too the way it was structured, it was too well written, and I was being factual about, and so it was reading it as though it was news. And I kept getting this warning, and I kept trying to change it. And I'm like, I'm going to change it and do it this way and do it that way, but I've been labeled as news.
That's
So
unreal.
it's unreal, right? And I'm like,
You're
I'm,
just a
I'm
citizen who's just telling people what's happening.
I mean, the only other thing I could have done to test it further is to take the same quote and give it to Karen or somebody else on Facebook and say, "Here, you try and post this, see what happens." And I suspect they'd be able to post it. I was basically unable to post anything on Facebook. So somebody had this
Wow.
whole negative comment about, or not a negative comment, an opinion on the next steps for the independence in Alberta, and I'm like, well, this is factually wrong. So I'm writing a nice little paragraph, and then I hit send, won't let me send it. I'm like, okay, so I'm changing things and wouldn't let me do it. And finally, I was able to do it by doing the bullshit stuff of doing spelling mistakes and changing words and doing a whole bunch of other crap. But I mean, like,
That's crazy.
it's
So
totally
this is
crazy.
this is Bill C-18 that passed just a few years ago. And that's the bill that allows the government to go and step in and say, well, here's how it went. because this actually blew up in their face. They they wanted to be able to label news organizations on media so that they could go after the social media companies and get them to pay money to the government so that the
Yeah,
money could
yeah,
dole the government could dole that money out to all the different verified news organizations. But the result was Facebook, Meta, and a bunch of other social media companies said, we're just banning news from Canada, period. We're just, it's not even
period.
allowed on the website.
But I've experienced like as an example, I do interviews and podcasts with other people, right? So I've done a few interviews with the CBC. So then I
Mhm.
find that interview and then I try and post the link to that interview on Facebook. That it wouldn't let me do. That I understood, right? So CBC, a link to a CBC article, I can't put that on Facebook. But this was a whole new level above that. Like this was like I took screenshots of it and I posted it on X. I was like, this is, and I even copied what I was trying to my answer, my text. I put it on X. I showed it to people. I'm like, this is not news. I'm not a news organization, but I have a feeling I'm being monitored. Anyways, back to
Yeah.
lots of
Throttled.
people. Yeah, lots of people complained about that. Lots of people on X have been complaining about it. On YouTube, in particular, it's always going on in YouTube. Jasmine this week, I found was she was talking about that. People are pointing out. At first, they were blaming the algorithm on X, right? Elon's been tweaking the algorithm, and people have said, okay, maybe that's it. But then, no, it's beyond that. We're being as conservative voices, we're being throttled
Yeah.
by
The
the government.
the only helpful thing you could do is get out of the country and and make what you make from another country
Well,
because it's throttled in Canada
yeah, and
particularly.
Carney's even like they're even going to put restrictions on VPNs. It's going to be illegal to use a VPN if they find out that you're using that you're trying to mask yourself, that you live in Canada and you're trying to produce Canadian content by disguising yourself as an American or something else. They're going to make that illegal. Yeah, it's bonkers.
Y-
It's bonkers.
Well, you know what's funny is the same agency that's supposed to be protecting us from all these big bad corporations and VPNs and all this stuff. They were the ones just on Twitter just the other day recommended that people use VPNs if they're in a in a like an open Wi-Fi or like if you're at a cafe or whatever. They said it's dangerous because you never know who could get a hold of your information on a network like that. So it's better if you use a VPN. And the VPNs, this is a government agency saying this. And then a bunch of the VPNs retweeted it, quote tweeted it, saying, yeah, that'd be excellent if you weren't banning us from even being allowed to operate in your country. How
Yeah.
backwards is this? Now, like this is crazy because obviously they're making a move like China has made. There's if you look at the list of countries that have banned VPNs or made it difficult to use VPNs, they're the most authoritarian, disgusting, backwards nations on the planet. North Korea, China, like Myanmar, all these places. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
Turkey.
there, yeah, and what I was, how I was going to wrap this up is that, as it's a good way to start the show. This censorship is real. We knew
Yes.
it would be real, but the censorship is becoming really real, and we've seen what happened in England. I mean, people in England get almost thrown in jail for their opinions. We're almost
Mhm.
at that point, and I can see how the government's winning because there's been a sterilization of the stories now. Like the stories we're seeing, even on X, are platforms like X and Facebook and others are becoming boring because they're being scrubbed. Like
Mhm.
my I can continue. I know I can keep saying what I'm saying on X, but it's not being perceived. It's not being seen by people, and so the government's winning. It's bonkers. I mean, and we've had other stories this week. Like while you were gone, the inflation
Well,
numbers.
before you
Okay,
move on to that,
yeah,
because this is where the big contention is. Now, a lot of free speech advocates and stuff, they've been screaming this since Bill C10 that turned into Bill C11 and it was actually passed. Then Bill C18 and was C4. Now it's C22.
C9, all of them.
EC9, like
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
them, right? And it's the free speech advocates that have been advocating against these things. Now it's the corporations, like the ones that we're supposed to be protected from, are the ones that are coming forward and saying, no, your government is asking us to breach the security of you. And what they're asking to do in Bill C-22 is to give the Canadian government a back door into their networks, into their systems, so that they can have wireless, or they can have warrantless searches and seizures and all this stuff. Did I pause, or was that okay? We're good.
No, you're good.
So it's the government that's saying to these giant, we're talking global corporations, saying we need to have a back door in so that we can survey Canadians. And they're saying, we're not giving you a back door in because now you're endangering the security of Americans on our platform, and they have a First Amendment right. You can't touch that. So they're saying, like, if this passes, they just won't be allowed to operate within the jurisdiction of Canada, period. And that's terrible. And we're talking like Meta,
And,
like Facebook, Twitter,
and,
all of these.
And actually, when you put it in that context, now you make me scared more because, like, we've been saying this for weeks, right? Or months. Carney's sabotaging our relationship with the US. Like, that's 100%. And so this is another small example. Like, it's he's going to say, oh, okay, well, Meta is gone and so is Google. And so we'll do our own thing. But
you're not going to make Apple computers on your own.
No,
you're not going to make Microsoft. You're not going to make Windows on your own. You know what I mean? Like, this is where it really is getting to. And this is how poorly thought out, or maybe how geniusly thought out this was, to create this like Canadian, the Berlin firewall. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Well, this is the thing. Apple computers, you can hate them all you want because of their restrictiveness on their operating system, but they're the ones who have stood up for people's privacy time and time again, because it's part of their ecosystem. Is that they, corporations can buy a bunch of iPhones for their people, and they know they're secure. They can buy these computers for these people because they know that Apple
will not give the encryption key and even to a
will.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah.
And that's great. So if Canada's now pulling this, and if the only possibility is to shut down all the Apple stores in Canada and shut down all the Microsoft stores in Canada, that might be the case, considering Canada's only a demographic of 40 million people. And put that into context with all these other growing economies. Look at Vietnam, 100 million people strong, vibrant, stepping out of like a small economy and becoming a large player now. 100 million strong. You can say, Canada, screw yourself and your giant demographics and transportation nightmare. We're just going to go to Vietnam or maybe Indonesia, America, 300 million strong. Canada's not that important on the world stage. People need to get that through their heads.
Yeah, we're a G7 economy, but barely. We're a G11 economy, but we're 40 million consumers. We're just not a bunch of consumers. We're just not.
Marty, I'm in a city that's nearly
the size of
nearly the amount of people in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm in Tokyo, Japan. I think there's like 23 million people in just in the Tokyo area, and then there's the outskirts. I mean, it's crazy. Canada really needs to just pull their heads out of their ass and just see, like, they should be the ones begging to come to the negotiation table, not the other way around.
People in my circle have been waking up more and more every week. I meet people who go, what's going on with Canada? What do you think's going on? What do you think's going on? And when I always say, boy, when you realize that we're being sold out and we're being taken over without a fight, and like once you start understanding, it all makes sense, right? We are losing a battle of massive proportion here, and at this point, most of us are resigning ourselves to the fact that there's nothing we can do. Like, we see it every day. Like I said, so the story I was going to is, like, you're talking about buying iPhones, man. Nobody's buying iPhones right now. Inflation numbers come out for this week again. Like, and I don't need numbers, right? Like, we know, everybody here, like a liter of gas is $1.89. $1.89 in Alberta for a liter of gas. I mean, I said there was snow this weekend. That was my excuse for not going anywhere, but nobody was going anywhere anyways. It's a long weekend and nobody's going anywhere because nobody can afford to
Mhm.
drive anywhere for a buck 89. And then inflation comes out at 2.8%. Yeah. And then the liberals are trying to argue it away. It's like, that's 2.8%. That's the reported number. Food
It's much
is
higher than that.
it's
We know
much
that.
higher than that. And then because then simultaneously they're running a story. I mean, I saw a story that was so sad on the news this week. Like, they're interviewing people, and this one lady says, I can't afford beef, I can't afford chicken, whatever. And she's substituting protein powder. She's literally buying protein powder made out of whatever, crickets and jellyfish. And she's
Way. It's way usually.
whatever the heck it is, right? But I mean, like,
It's a
to
milk
to
product.
to substitute, to try and feed your family and your kids, and to add a protein milkshake every day because you're not getting enough, because you can't afford to buy beef. Even my daughter came home this weekend. We had a little, because it was the long weekend, we're all stuck home. we
Mhm.
we had a little meal at home, and Sarah came over and she brought a couple of steaks. Guess where the steaks were from? New Zealand.
America. Oh,
No, they were from New
New Zealand.
Zealand. New
What?
Zealand. Like, or Australia. Sorry, not New Zealand, Australia. But I mean,
Still, it's like it's crazy.
halfway
They
around
came
the
from so
world, and they
far.
got cheaper beef than we do here in Alberta. And
That's
it's
insane.
in our Alberta beef is expensive because whatever, carbon tax on the diesel used by the farmer, carbon tax on the fertilizer, limits on this, limits on that, and
The
they can't.
compounding price of like feed, because the
Yep.
to grow the feed, there's carbon taxes paid on all of the processes to grow the feed, and then they transport it to the cows, and then yeah, it's
Actually,
crazy.
hey,
Snowball effect.
Yuji, who's listening in the background, can you find close to my tweet that you posted those tweets there on the inflation? Find the one. There was a funny one in the report this week on gasoline and how the government's trying desperately to explain. There's a little graph I put right around there if he finds it, but the government.
Yeah.
Stats Canada, the government's frustrated because they took away the gasoline tax, right? Or part of the tax last year or earlier this year, and it's
Mm.
not reflected in the numbers. They're frustrated that that inflation is so out of control that they took away the part of the gasoline tax. And yeah, that chart, like, if you see that gray bar, that gray, that's the gasoline chart, and the gray bar is the period where is the month where they remove the carbon tax. Anyways, they're going out of their way. The government's going out of their way to try and explain that, well, we took away the tax, but it didn't have as big an impact as we thought it would, which is so bizarre because at the same time, remember how long they tried to defend the carbon tax as not adding to the price of food and stuff like that. But in fact, it does, because now they're excluding it from the calculations and they're trying to explain it. They're taking away gasoline because with gasoline, inflation is like sky high.
Oh,
So
it's
they're
amazing.
yeah, so they're eliminating gasoline from the inflation numbers right now, or
And
trying
this is
to.
the crazy thing, because people assume that, in Japan, because small island nation, all this stuff, big cities, all of that, that gas prices would be outrageous, and typically they were in the past, compared to Canadian prices, compared to American prices. Gas, I took a picture of it on Twitter, and it was 174, and just the other day I was walking past another gas station, it's gone down to 168, and that's in yen. When you do the exchange rate, because right now, what is it? It's like 116 yen to a dollar Canadian. And that puts it down below like 150 Canadian per liter. In Japan, it's cheaper.
And it's 100% imported. Like, there's no oil in Japan. Like,
There's no oil in Japan. No,
100% imported. Wow.
it's mostly the stuff that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. But now Japan's buying oil from America because of the whole debacle, right? So it's
Yeah.
still cheaper. It's still cheaper. Like, let's just have a look at this, because like the inflation issue is a poorly managed government issue. It's runaway inflation because of printing, monetary supply, all that stuff. In Japan, the inflation isn't what it is in Canada. And we're talking like food and everything. Japanese people they're talking about it like, oh, inflation, we're feeling the pinch. But realistically, it's not that crazy. Usually pull up the ramen. So this, I love ramen noodles. There, it's like, uh, yeah, it's one of my treats when I go to Japan. And this is one of the restaurants that I've been going to for over 15 years, right? And 15 years ago, this same bowl of ramen was 950 yen. So, you know, just drop a couple of zeros. It's like
$9
950.
or 95 cents or whatever. No, nine
No,
dollars and fifty
$9.
cents.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
$9.50. Now today it's 100, or sorry, it's 1,100 yen, which is
Barely,
a
not
buck
even
50
10%.
more.
Yeah, yeah, not even
15
10%.
years later, a buck more. Like that's outrageous. And it's the same delicious bowl of ramen. But this is what people expect in Japan. They don't want the prices to fluctuate so much. And even though the prices have been going up, they're going up very, very incrementally on a lot of, especially everyday items, including food. I go to the grocery store and I look at what ground meat costs, and it's just astronomically cheaper over there. Like you can get a pack of hamburgers. I saw a pack the other day. It was five big, like they call them Hamburg steaks. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, a Hamburg, a big Hamburg. Five of those for under $10. The same product in British Columbia costs you $20. It's unbelievable for like
Yeah.
that amount of beef. And of course, it's top notch stuff. Everybody talks about Wagyu Japanese beef. I mean, it's not that outrageous here. And this is what a lot of Canadians need to clue in. Like, this is a phenomena that's happening in Canada. Like, it's happening to you, and you think that you're being told by the news that it's happening everywhere. Not to the degree that it's happening in Canada. I mean, I'm going to Texas next week, in a couple of days. But I've been there a bunch recently. You go into an HEB, the grocery store that's in Texas. You can buy big, pork roasts for under $30, like an entire pork shoulder. You can get a whole brisket for $100.
Well, I think
It's
that
crazy.
that's one of the good things that's going to happen in the coming weeks, right? So school's over and Canadians are going to start traveling a little bit more now. So we're back
Mhm.
if they can, right? I mean, God,
If they can,
like
if they can
if they
afford to.
can with the price of jet fuel. I hope a few Canadians do go to Europe and go to the US and go to a few places and start noticing just what you said, right? Like I know if you go to Europe, it's a Europe is some aspects of Europe are bad. I mean, if you go to England, there's parts of England where maybe the price is cheaper, but culturally there's stuff going on in England that I'm not happy about. But
Mhm.
people who are going to go visit Portugal, go visit Spain, go visit Poland, go visit those places, and you're going to see what a normal society post COVID looks like. Those places have recovered; they're back to normal. We're still not back to normal, man.
No.
I had bigger hopes for Canada this year, and they keep getting quashed. I mean, like what happened this week while you were gone? There was another, like, there's a big news story that broke this week, right? The snowbirds got canceled. Like, not the people that traveled to the US, but the airplane, the air demonstration, the snowbirds, an iconic
The
Canadian
Canadian
institution,
version of the Blue Angels, right?
Blue Angels, and
Yeah.
this is their last season, and then they're canceled until 2030 because we have no planes for them. Those planes are too dangerous to fly, and they're allowed to fly them this year. Hopefully, there's no accidents. And then they're making excuses. Like, how do you make excuses, right? If in the oil patch and I said to my boss, "Oh, I'm sorry, boss, but that 20-year-old compressor over there, it's done." And he said, "Well, didn't you order a new one to replace it?" And I said, "No, I haven't." I'd be fired, like, on the spot. But so,
Yeah.
like these guys, the Canadian Air Force has not ordered replacement planes, and not just for the snowbirds, by the way, right? The snowbirds were using planes
For
that
for defense, they're
they were
just
using the
reneging
same
on
model of
everything.
planes that we trained in, right? So you trained in they're called tutors, so they trained in those, and then they had some set aside for the air demonstration, and now we don't have trainers, we don't have we're getting F-35s. We're a year or two away from getting F-35s, and we have no planes that we can use to train our guys in how to fly F-35s. And that's and and on the internet, people are excusing them. People are excusing the Liberals. Carney even said, Carney's exact words today was, "I inherited this."
From what?
Like, you inherited it from Trudeau,
From
but then
Trudeau?
your defense minister under Trudeau is the same defense minister. Your finance minister, your environment minister, they're all the same people. So you might be new, but what did you inherit, Carney? And he
Oh,
just,
that's unreal.
oh, it's
But and then
completely
they're fine with it. People
they're
are
totally
fine with
fine.
that excuse, and then they just move on.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And this is why I don't blame Donald Trump for what he just did recently. Where there's been this, what was it? Every month, the nations get together, defense strategy things since World War II. They've so it's like 80 some odd years. This tradition's been there for Canada and the United States. And Donald Trump just said, "Yeah, we're not going to have those sessions
Yeah.
anymore.
He
We're
said, "You're
it's not
done."
even it's not even worth it. Why are we briefing you on what's happening in the continent? You don't
He
even seem to
was
care what's happening in your own cities."
same thing. We don't see this in the news. We're not hearing it in Canada, but in the US, at a press conference, he basically said, Canada's not serious, right? They made a promise to increase their spending. Maybe Mark have it. I don't know what that clip
Yeah,
is
let's have a
there.
listen to this clip. Yeah.
I'm not hearing it.
Oh, we're not getting the audio. So, but it's
So
absolutely
maybe it's, I don't know if it's a
mind-boggling.
clip he was thinking of playing, but
defensive commitments, and that
Oh,
the
there we
United
go. We got
States
it.
needs to reassess how this forum benefits shared North American defense. CBC's Willie Lowry is on this story for us in Washington. So, Willie, what more do we know about this?
Angie, Canada's defense spending has long been a point of frustration for the U.S. and, quite frankly, other NATO countries as well. Ottawa only hit NATO's 2% of GDP spending on its defense budget this year, and that frustration seems to have boiled over. On social media, Under Secretary of War Elbridge Colby said, quote, "Unfortunately, Canada has failed to make credible progress on its defense commitments. DOW, Department of War, is pausing the Permanent Joint Board on Defense to reassess how this forum benefits shared North American defense. We can no longer avoid the gaps between rhetoric and reality. Real power must sustain our rhetoric with shared defense and security responsibilities," end quote. Now, those last two lines, appear to be a shot at Prime Minister Mark Carney and his
You
speech
don't say.
in Davos, where he stressed the importance of middle powers and said that the world was, of course, experiencing this rupture in the world order. On the Canadian side, former Conservative leader Erin O'Toole, who was recently appointed by Carney to the Advisory Committee on Canada-U.S. Economic Relations, slammed the move on social media. He said, quote, "This is profoundly misguided and quite strange coming right after the president's visit to China. Canada has been and will be an ally that shares values of liberty. As a Canadian whose grandfather deployed to Alaska for joint defense in World War II, I hope we don't lose sight of that." Again, the timing.
Okay, I have to add to this because I brought it up many times.
Yeah.
I am absolutely sick of Canadians bringing up and invoking past generations
World
that
War
have made
II.
sacrifices
Yeah.
for whatever conflict that was happening at that time, and they use it as an excuse to say, like, well, you should be okay with the way we are right now. It's inexcusable. You haven't done anything, and you're invoking your grandpappy who sacrificed. Like, forget it. And shame on O'Toole for pulling that BS.
And then double shame, because he's sort of like siding with Carney on this one and saying, Trump is wrong, blah blah blah. We've talked about this, right? Like, Trump doesn't want words. He doesn't want words. Like, when we say, "Oh, we'll increase the GDP or the military spending by 2%," what did we do? We gave raises to our soldiers. That doesn't count. That's not what Trump wants, right? like
That's long overdue, by the way. But
it is overdue, and I'm glad he did it. But
real
like we
action.
just said, the story, right? Like our snowbirds are falling apart, and we need to buy like 40 trainers. And now we're going to study the problem for 20 years and make sure that the new planes we order are bilingual and work in -40. Blah blah blah. No, you send 3 guys down to the U.S. You go visit McDonnell Douglas or Boeing, and you go, hey, what do you got that works right now? And the guy goes, that little train over there is used by 14 different armies around the world to train their pilots. Done. I'll buy 40. We buy 40 right now. Trump is happy. And then while you're shopping down there, you go down there like, oh, that looks pretty cool. What is that? It's like, oh, that's a frigate. That's a Harleyberg class frigate. I'll take one of those. He'd be so happy. We just spend $40 billion real money, and then we're back to normal. But no, that like he's hey, my God. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, so I didn't even know we were going to talk about this. I mean, like, if you want to know how much we've talked about this, Carney's trying to piss him off. Look at what. Okay, so we need a new NATO secretary. Okay, the NATO is looking for a new secretary. So Canada volunteered someone to be the new NATO secretary. Who did we volunteer? Our chief of defense, that lady with the white hair who cries during interviews. Like Trump's going to have an aneurysm when he sees that. Like,
that's way too funny.
I mean, his top general is a guy named Mad Dog, whatever, Mattis, and then we're going to propose like so and so. Like, come on. Jeez.
Oh, that's too funny. What I was going to say was, Yuji, bring up the tweet that I put out just the other day. So this is the big talk that Carney has. He talks in front of the whole world, and he says our economic ties and all of this with the United States, those days are over, and we're gonna, because it's just a sign of weakness, and we're gonna change this. And what have they done? There's a new financial scheme where instead of trading Canadian bonds in Canadian dollars, they're selling them in US dollars now. Have a look at this. If Yuji, you can pull it up. It's one of my more recent tweets. And it's a new scheme because obviously people are concerned. They don't want to buy things, especially financial apparatus like government bonds. They're not interested in buying them in Canadian dollars.
No.
So they want to have them backed by US dollars, so that if they're inflated away, here it is. It's too small for me to read, but have a look at that. It's crazy.
Oh, how can you make it bigger? I can't read that at all either. You can't read it on your phone. I can't read it either.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So news release. If you can jump in, Yuji, because maybe you can see it.
Hey, so Canadian Prime Minister.
Oh, your audio cut out. Your mic just cut out.
There we go. Okay, it's that button on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says today, Government of Canada launches a US dollar-dominated global bond with pricing to be finalized tomorrow.
Another financial tool that's been converted over to US currency so that investors aren't scared to purchase this. This is Carney's idea of getting away from the United States and moving towards being more independent from them. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And it just shows that Canada, basically what Donald Trump said at Davos in response to Mark Carney, was the idea that the United States or Canada lives because of the United States. It only exists because of the United States. And if it weren't for the United States, I mean, no other country would be able to operate the way Canada does. It's unreal. It would just be a poor country. And it's going that way now anyway. It's absolutely going in that direction, which is insane. It's absolutely insane.
Okay.
But yeah, where do we go from there? I wanted to ask you, because you brought up before we got into the show here. Yuji, if you can pull that down, just put us both up. Yeah. So you teased at me that there was another breaking story on the Alberta separation front, and maybe not some good news. Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a good news. So last week there was a ruling, and the judge basically threw out or accepted the natives' attempts to block the petition. So the judge said, "Yeah, I agree." Elections Alberta, before authorizing the petitions, should have consulted with First Nations. So the judge said that the chief electoral officer missed a step, and therefore the petition is invalid, which is bonkers. And because all we're trying to do is
The petition itself is completely invalid now.
yeah, at this point he's saying the petition's invalid because he did this mental exercise that if the petition is successful and then you get the referendum and the referendum is successful, then you will be triggering the need for a consultation. And so the judge says you should have done the consultation now. The argument by Jeff Rath and others is that no, the consultation comes in the future. At this point, citizens are asking the question. It's a can of worms because you got to have a consultation, but that's not even the worst part. That part they were dealing with it, and there was a committee talking about.
I want to set this stage here. So, like every time there's an election or any sort of referendum, there's a consultation ahead of time.
That's the implication. That's 100% the implication. Or let's say me as a private citizen, I decide to run. And run as a separatist in an upcoming election. Well, then yes, I'm by the judge's reasoning, Elections Alberta would require that I do some consulting with First Nations before he would accept my nomination as a separatist candidate. Like that's.
Well, what if you wanted to run for the UC? What is it? The UCP?
It's a can of worms. It's gross.
It doesn't really follow a logical line at all. It seems
like
an excuse.
No, yeah, absolutely. We're being defeated at every step of the way, and so this is lawfare. So then, as part of the follow up for that today, there was there was a committee that was meeting, and the committee was debating using. Because there was two petitions last year, right? There was the one from the no side or the leave side, and then there was one from the stay side, right? So this guy named Thomas Dukasik last year, he collected a petition with 400,000 signatures, and his question was, "Do you want to stay in Canada?" Ours was, "Do you want to leave?" His was, "Do you want to stay?" So now the committee is studying his question, and could have filed a referendum with his petition.
But did he consult the natives?
Yeah, well, it died in committee. It died in committee.
I'm absolutely blown away by this whole thing. Like when the pipe burst in Calgary, did they have to consult the natives before they fixed the pipe?
Law?
How many of these things have to be consult? You have to consult. Like it's not even a question of. It's stupid.
It's totally. It's not even our law. Our law has been very clear. Our law says that the executive branch doesn't need to question, meet with the natives and consult. Only the legislative branch when passing new laws. And this is not a new law. This is asking a question. It's bonkers. I mean, you need to bring in Jeff Rath back on the show because Jeff's filing an appeal, but I'm afraid his appeal is we're going to run out of time. But anyways, just as a recap, we established last week in our live stream that if it doesn't happen by the 19th of October, then it can't happen until after an election cycle. A whole year past the next election. So the next election is October 2027. So we couldn't have a referendum until October 2028.
Everyone's gone by then.
Everybody's gone, and
nobody's sticking around for that.
No, and then Carney will have changed the laws and all sorts of things, and but just quickly what happened today, because it was so bizarre, is there was again a committee, and there was they were studying the other petition and whether they can use that to trigger a referendum, and the committee was 4 Conservatives and 2 NDP, and the committee fucked it up. Because while the committee was happening, while the committee's meeting, the committee met from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock this afternoon. And while the committee was meeting, a press release came out by the UCP government saying, hey, the committee approved the question and there will be a question on the referendum. Well, that was false. That press release was released too early, and they never. So basically, what they showed their cards. The committee, which was made up mostly of conservatives, was going to somehow or other pass a resolution and then ask Danielle Smith to hold a referendum. They were doing some manipulation, but they never finished their manipulations. And the press release came out. So they were so certain that they were going to get that they were going to win the motion in the committee that they issued the press release. And this lady, right when the committee came back from recess, is like, oh, isn't this interesting, Mr. Speaker or Mr. Chair? I just read somewhere that this committee voted on a referendum question and they hadn't. So it fucked up the committee. So then she raised a point of privilege, which is really nasty. And she basically was trying to hold the committee in contempt of Parliament. Of course, the committee being dominated by 4 conservatives voted against her point of privilege, and then it became 4 o'clock, and the committee's like, well, the chairman's like, let's extend and let's go past 4 o'clock and keep pushing on this. But to go past 4 o'clock, you needed a unanimous vote. So then the 2 NDP said, no, we're not doing this, and the committee ended the day without having accomplished anything. And now Parliament's in recess for the next 4 months. Parliament in Alberta doesn't resume until October 27th, like a week after the next referendum. So the other side is winning. Like we were prepared for this, and I'm resolving myself to that they're throwing everything they have at us, and we are not prepared for the war of attrition because it takes thousands and thousands of dollars to beat the government. And then tomorrow there's supposed to be an announcement. The announcement was I'm sure that Smith was going to use this committee to make an announcement, but now she had 2 ministers resign today. So now tomorrow's announcement will be about probably a cabinet shuffle. It's yeah. And then Carney, what's the old expression? Don't interrupt your opponents when they're whatever. Like Carney came in up, yeah. Carney came in here last week and made her look good by saying, oh yeah, I'll build you a pipeline and she was all proud of herself. Meanwhile, Carney today went to BC and told David Eby a completely different story. He's like, they'll never get a pipeline. Don't worry about it. Yes. So what's it called? The bridge, the bridge. And I need a consultation, please.
Well, I'll set that up for you, Marty. Eugene's got it all set up, ready to go. Yeah. So the website is movetotheusa.com. That's with a number 2. So movetotheusa.com. Go talk to my buddy Sandro over there. He'll help you out. What they do is they actually help people do all the things to do immigration, because it's not easy. It's not easy to just pack up and go. You think that the immigration part is like the difficult part. It's only the beginning, because you still got to move all your finances. You got to get credit established. You got to get a place. You got to get your bank account. Like they'll help you out with everything. They'll hold your hand through all of this, and it's very helpful.
Clyde, I'm trying to stay positive and smile about it, because if you don't smile, you're going to want to cry. That's the kind of week we've had. And here, let's add a little bit of humor, right? Remember last week?
The only thing that bums me out is that when you do move to the United States, Marty, you won't be my neighbor in Texas because you don't like the heat.
No, I'll be a little bit further north. I'll probably be in, Montana is more my kind of weather. I wouldn't go too far, But it's been such a bad week. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I had a shitty job I needed to do. I told you I needed to change the front axle in Patrick's Mazda 3, and I wasn't looking forward to it because it could be a knuckle buster. I actually look forward to it. I did it yesterday. I was so happy. I'd rather change an axle. And then today I did a belt on a treadmill, which I'd never done. But I'm like, they both look like shitty job. But compared to listening to the news, I was happy to just
Well, that's another thing too, like because we were talking about the censorship, but there's also like a defeatist sort of thing. I think a lot of people are tuning out. A lot of
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
were paying attention to the
Yeah.
news, there's so much defeat. There's so many cases of losing out. You know, Conservatives who got voted in by conservative constituencies moving over to the Liberals, giving Carney a
Crossing the
government.
floor. Yep.
Yeah, like all of this stuff, time after time, people are like, you get loss fatigue, and people are just tuning out. Like, okay, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. You get this sort of feeling of helplessness, and then you just don't want to pay attention to it anymore. So that could be a contributing factor in why a lot of people aren't watching news in Canada anymore. That's crazy. I mean, my message is I really want to show Americans, because I think a lot of Canadians, like, it's too late, man. Like you did it, you tried, but look at all the people that are happy that Carney's in and what he's doing. Like, there's a lot of people that are happy about it. It's crazy. So I want to give my warning to America. Like, this is where I want to focus my message, is look at what happened to Canada. It could happen. So be well aware of this, because you don't want America to go down that path. Like Reagan has always said, there's Canadians can flee from Canada to America, but America is the last bastion of freedom. It's that shining beacon of hope. You can't let that be extinguished. Cannot let that be extinguished.
No, and like I like what you just said. I mean, that is one of the more disappointing things. Like, I don't mind fighting, and I don't mind losing. Like, as an example, people are trying to mock me. They're like, you spend 120 hours collecting signatures, and then the judge threw it out, right? I'm like, yeah, that stinks.
Laugh
That
about
totally
that.
fucking
Wow.
stinks. And I'd be like, but then I tried something, and that'd be like, if I tried a business and my business failed, I'd just dust myself off, and I'll try another one, and I'll try another one, right? If you're not failing, you're not trying. And then I feel, but then the chorus of people mocking us, I feel sorry for them in a sense. Like, yeah, you guys lost to the Indians. You should consult with the Indians. I'm like, and you're honestly happy with the system? Like, because it doesn't hurt you today, but yeah, it's like the people who cheered because we're getting our guns banned. I mean, like, I feel sorry for you, because someday they're going to come for something that's near and dear to you. And someday you're going to fight for something near and dear to you, and you're going to come under the full force of the government. Like, yeah, mock the ostrich owners. Sure, you don't like Kathy because she fought the government. I pity you the day the government comes after you. Like it, but some people just can't do that, right? They can't ever imagine that they might be in that situation, which is bizarre, because think of what we lived through COVID. Like,
I'll never forget when the Canadian government put restrictions on people's travel because of an arbitrary thing, such as a vaccination. It's written right there in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that they cannot restrict your travel, and yet they did anyway. And the response to people being upset with that and wanting their liberties was to call them freedom with a DUMB, right? Like, for people to actually like change the spelling of freedom to have like DUMB in it is the most atrocious thing. Like, yeah, I mean,
actually,
you think you're clever or whatever, but like, people will look back on that, and I look back on that. Like, I don't feel like I'm fellow citizens with those people. I have nothing in common with them.
UG, bring the comment across from She's 45, the one at 8:22 p.m. that says, Marty, you want to play fair? Just put it up on the screen. I mean, we're not doing comments yet, and it's not a super chat, but I just wanted to bring it up because it's maybe he doesn't know how to do that. Oh, I'm sure he does. Anyway, let me read it then, right? It says, Marty, you want to play fair? The Libs haven't played fair for a decade. Time to fight dirty. you and I have been saying this forever, right? Like we hold ourselves to such a moral high ground, and then we just get crushed and creamed. And I agree.
Mhm.
And recently I didn't play nice. I played a little bit dirty, and as soon as I played a little bit dirty, I lost support. I had all sorts of people that came down on me for playing dirty. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm playing their own game. Yeah, well, don't play their game. I was like, well, then okay, then we'll keep losing, I guess. That's fair. We'll I won't play dirty. I'll just move on, and you guys can fight on your own. Yeah, that comment there, like, and playing dirty, is a relative term, right? Like, I mean, it's not hard to be dirty if you're playing the government's game, because the government's filthy. Like
Well,
if you think
know
the
how you
government's
do it,
playing
right?
fair against us, like, wow, folks.
You know how you do it, right? You turn it around on them. This is what's happening in LA right now. So because the Democrats are totally against pushing or passing the Save America Act, which is to in the Save America Act, it's to make it so you have to have citizenship and prove it, and then show ID to vote. Right?
Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
register with your citizenship and you have to show ID to vote. So in response to this, Republicans around the country are rallying behind this guy who's running for mayor in a Republican running for mayor in LA, and they're all openly saying that they're going to go and illegally vote. They're going to travel to LA and illegally vote for that mayor. And if they ask for ID, their response is going to be, "What are you, racist?"
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
sure.
all over social media, they're saying, "Let's get this guy elected in LA." What's his name? Eugene, can you pull that up? What's his name? I forget. It's uh Spencer something, and he's an interesting guy because he lost his house in those fires the other year, a couple of years ago in
Oh,
LA,
okay. Yeah.
and he's been living in an Airstream camper on his land that's been burnt to a crisp. And he's going in there and he's saying, "This has all been mismanaged. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to," and he's saying he's going to open up all the records of LA's spending to the IRS so that they can just go through everything.
I love that idea. It's noble, but I mean, the moment he gets in, he'll be if he gets in, he'll still be subject to the pressures, and he won't be able to do what he wants to do.
Well, we'll see what
Yeah,
happens with
we'll
that.
see.
But Republicans across America are using this as a as a rallying cry to get the Save America Act bill pushed forward, right? So if they don't want to lose their municipality in Los Angeles, well, they better pass that Save America Act, because Republicans across America are willing to travel to LA to vote in that election and tell people to piss off when they ask for ID. This is hilarious.
Just before we run out of time, it's related to all this. There was a big news this week, right? Gad Saad went down to the US and did a Joe Rogan podcast, and Gad's a pretty famous guy. I mean, Gad is closely associated with Jordan Peterson, is often a guest on Joe Rogan podcast, and has been retweeted many, many times by Elon. And Gad right now, he's the latest to have given up. He said on Joe Rogan, "No, I'm moving." I mean, he's leaving his teaching job in Concordia University and other places, and he's
a tenured professor, right?
He's a tenured professor, and he's moving to Pennsylvania State, I think, or someplace like that. And just another part of the academic brain drain. That's all. I want to read that book. I mean, that's I've heard lots of him talk. He was on a few podcasts this week, and I already knew about the premise of his book, like Suicidal Empathy. He wrote a whole book. It follows up with The Parasitic Mind, but his newest book's called The Suicidal Empathy, and he describes Canada as being we are consumed by people that are that way, right? People that defend the rapist, people that defend the invading immigrant who commits a crime. Like we had that example here in Alberta, in Saskatchewan, right? You got you got a truck driver who's barely in here legally, drives a truck, kills 16 young hockey players, and now people are fighting to try and keep him in Canada, that it's too cruel to deport him. I'm like, I got no problem deporting him. The guy killed 16 people. Like, he came here. There's an agreement. But anyways, that's suicidal empathy, like where you are supporting the people that want to do harm to you. And
well, specifically, a Western issue is Islam. Like,
Yeah.
Islam is definitely a big problem. I heard an argument recently, and I think this was a valid argument, and it was the idea that, yes, we have freedom of religion, we have freedom of you choose how and who you want to worship. That's completely up to you. But the argument here is that, we don't accept cults. We don't allow for that. That's something we actually do crack down on. And one of the key defining features of a cult is a religious organization that, if you choose to leave, the punishment for apostasy is death. And that is actually written in the Quran. That is actually part of it. And that's something that we cannot tolerate. We cannot tolerate a free people to be subjugated to apostasy laws or apostasy retribution. If you want to come and go from whatever religion you want, that's the way it's supposed to be in a free society. You should be able to, if you want to be Christian, stop being Christian and become a Buddhist, like Richard Gere or whatever. It's a popular thing that's happened over the years. And then some people come from other nations and become Christians or whatever. That's your freedom. That's you can throw it all away and do dowsing rods and have crystals all around your house. For all I care, it's up to you. But if you're gonna go after free citizens in a free country because they left your religion, well, your religion can't be tolerated. And I think it's a good argument.
I don't even need to make it that complicated. I can find much simpler reasons why not to tolerate most of Islam. I mean, like, I live in a society that pretty much recognizes men and women as equal, and they don't, generally speaking. And the whole face covering and the whole separation, and that's too many of their ideas are incompatible with the way we think, and it's as simple as that. I mean, it's sad to see Gad, but he's
I'm happy for him.
I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. But
I think he's moving to Tennessee. I think was where he's heading. He said
Ole Miss. Yes, he's going to Ole Miss. Yeah, no, Mississippi. Is Ole Miss in Tennessee or Mississippi? I think he's going to Ole Miss.
Oh, maybe it's Mississippi.
Yeah, I think it's Mississippi. Not the highest academic kind of school. Ole Miss has probably got a good reputation, but anyways, yeah. Welcome to Canada.
There's a lot of great schools in the South. If you want to study Austrian economics, that's in the South as well. The Mises Institute, I think it's out of Alabama. So I mean, there's a lot of great stuff happening in the South. I can't read it; it's so small. But I guess he says it there in that tweet.
Right on.
All right. Cool. Well, I mean, I guess we can get to some of the comments. Before we do, Marty, where can people find you?
Still on X. Still haven't been canceled. Still not in jail. That was funny a couple of weeks ago when what's his name? The Contrarian Tribe, whatever, did that post about me getting arrested. But no, I'm on X. Right. Yeah. Marty up north on X, folks. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's get into some of these comments. Yuji, join us. Come on in here. Well, everybody, welcome Yuji. Yuji's my friend and business partner and colleague. He's been helping a ton with stuff on the back end, and he's been gracious enough to help us while I'm away. Produce.
And he's a premier coffee roaster. Don't forget about that.
Don't forget that. Yeah, absolutely. If you buy the coffee from the website, the ClydeDoSomething.com. Yuji's the one who's actually roasting that coffee, so it's amazing. Roasted right there in British Columbia.
Do you go pick the beans? Do you get a trip over somewhere once a year, Yuji, to go pick the beans? Like, are you one of those guys? No,
I don't go that far. No, the people I buy the beans from great-great-grandfather started a farm in Brazil, and I just buy directly from her.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like family farm, and they help out the community by having schools. They set up schools and they feed everybody, and yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that intense. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, they're great. All right, get some super chats. I don't know how to pronounce that. Chris High 1JZ, $5. Guys, the
It's
censorship
almost Chris Hyges, but
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. $5 says, guys, the censorship by the Canadian government is concerning. I think Carney is taking Canada down a dangerous path. USMCA cancellation is close too.
Yeah, so I mean, I was predicting that Trump would back out of the USMCA at the end of January because I thought, well, it would make sense because any nation in any of the three nations can back out with 6 months notice, and giving 6 months notice ahead of the negotiation process I thought would have been a great step. But I think yeah, I was wrong on that one. Maybe it's to come.
I mean, it's the only thing saving our bacon right now, right? Like the fact that, don't quote me exactly, but about 80% of the trade of, say, Ontario and Quebec is covered there. And that's why there isn't 25 or 30% tariffs on more goods. I could see like this little tiff between the two of them is getting a bit personal. And I could see Trump saying, hey, okay, you good luck growing your economy to the number one in the G7. We're out of here. You know, good luck.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Good luck
Now,
with that.
another thing that Trump actually alluded to when they the Supreme Court ruled against Trump's EPA tariffs. So I mean, they just made it difficult because EPA tariffs were, you know, you could just put a blanket tariff on a country. Now, without that, he still has the ability to put tariffs on. It's just more paperwork, essentially. Yeah. And so he's just trying to be a little bit more streamlined. But when that occurred, Trump made a speech. He said, you know, I have the ability not just to put tariffs on products, but I have the ability to ban entire products, ban entire countries. So I could just ban a product from your country and you'll never be able to ship it into the United States. Like that's possible.
Yeah. No more maple syrup, as an example. Yeah,
that could be a thing. And then
this joke's funny. We've had this joke 6 weeks in a row now.
Let's trade Quebec for Texas. 4-point Roberts. Quebec to Texas.
I wonder who that is. Is that Drew Coover or somebody like that, or Vancouver guy? I don't know who.
Van C guy? No, I think Van C guy is just one of our viewers. Drew Coover would come in with his Drew Coover account.
Yeah, Drew Coover was just in England.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Careful. I wouldn't go there. They'd throw me in jail.
There's a giant Tony Robinson get together again. So.
Yeah, I saw that. Nick Shirley spoke at that event.
They definitely clamped down on people coming in. I mean, Alexa Lavoie from the Rebel went in, but I think that's because Ezra probably wouldn't even attempt to go to England these days. If Ezra set foot in England, he'd probably get flagged at the airport and turned right around.
Am I mistaken in saying that Ezra has been banned from England?
Well, that's what maybe he is formally. I don't know if he was, but I would suspect he is. That I mean, it's apparent he didn't go there this week. He purposely did not go. He sent some junior staffers. He sent Alexa. She did a great job. But yeah, I think Ezra is not going there. It was on the news that the England clamped down on a lot of people. Wouldn't let influencers. I got invited. Uh-oh.
Is that on my end or is that just Marty?
Something glitched.
Okay. I think you had a hiccup in your Wi-Fi or something, Marty.
Are we all back?
Yep.
Yeah, it seems okay. You just kind of slowed down for a minute.
Did I draw?
Can you hear us, Marty?
Okay. I'm still connected. Anyways, I got invited and I said no, I'm not going to the UK. I wouldn't want to. I didn't want to be risking going to that event, so I did not go to that event.
Yeah,
Am I
I
still good,
mean,
or are
they
we
they
dead?
get you be arrested. I think we're good now. I think we just had a little
Okay.
dip in the connection.
Yeah. I got a $10 super chat from Cobrax. It says for $5 billion US, Alberta Defense Force can buy 30 F-35 fighters and 50 Abram M1A2 main battle tanks. Just saying.
Yeah, if Alberta was an independent nation, yeah, I'm sure they could, and that would be great. Um, it's being thwarted here on this end. That's really
I'm glitching
unfortunate.
a little bit here. I might have to come out.
Oh, dip out and then come back in.
I'll leave and I'll come back.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not glitching on my end, am I, EG?
No, you're okay.
Okay, yeah, it's so funny because I'm halfway across the world and streaming from Tokyo, and my connection's better than just outside Calgary.
Yeah. I think Japan has the fastest internet connection in the world right now. Something you could
Is that
download
right?
the entire thing on Netflix in like 2 minutes or something.
What?
Yeah, something ridiculous. Mark Nixon
That's
posted it a while
outrageous.
ago. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just on Wi-Fi here in the
Still pretty
apartment,
good.
but yeah, it's killer. Just
Mhm.
yeah, it's yeah, it just doesn't disconnect. The thing I found though on the last walk, every time I find I go into Yoyogi Park, it
Mhm.
really starts to scatter.
Yeah, it did. I mean, last time it was the cherry blossoms and it was crowded, so that's why it really scattered. But
Yeah, but now I'm starting to think that maybe there's just not great coverage in the park.
just not necessary.
Yeah, because it wasn't really that busy at the time.
Mhm.
So we'll see. Has Marty come back in yet?
No, I don't see him. Do I have to
No.
invite or
No. He should be able to just jump back in on the same link.
okay. Yeah, we'll hold off the super chat until he comes back.
Absolutely. But yeah, this trip's been fantastic. I'm glad I came. I'm glad I came, but yeah, it costs a lot. Costs a lot to do it. And
Yeah.
it's crazy how fast 3 weeks flies by.
Yeah, it's
Because
true.
yeah, we're heading back tomorrow. Yeah.
Mhm.
But again, we're heading back, and then instead of going home, we're driving to Seattle from Vancouver Airport,
Mhm.
staying there a night, and then we're flying to Austin, and we'll be there for about 4 days or 4 nights or something.
Mhm.
And yeah, go figure things out. Go
Yeah.
set up the new life.
There you go.
That's how that works. There we go, Marty. Welcome
Hello.
back.
All right.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Where were we?
Get a super chat from Myron's $10. Buying F-35 makes sense. Local part, local pilots, local train mechanics, etc. To fly too far to fly the Gripen parts in if something goes wrong.
Oh, that's the Scandinavian country or company that Carney said he was going to buy some other Griffin planes to add to the fleet. Like, why? Why would you add?
Well, we've already spent a fortune. We are part of the F-35 team, right? And we've been helping develop it for years and years. So, like, why would we drop it? I just want to go back to the previous question, though. I saw that it was addressed to Alberta specifically, right? And somebody mentioned $5 billion. It's a question that came up all the time during the independence talk. Like, an independent Alberta would have to set up a small military. Alberta's GDP is $350 million. So for $350 million or $1 billion, you put 2-3% of your GDP aside. Yeah, it's $9 billion a year. So the question's legit, right? What would you buy with $9 billion a year? I'd just go on a shopping spree in the US, and we don't need a navy because we're landlocked.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
But the Griffin. Before we get into that, I just want to address the Carney buying different planes. Like it literally would be like having your infantry, giving half your infantry AK-47s and half of them AR-15 platforms. Like you're retarded. You know what I mean? You don't want to. Why would you want to get a split up fleet of different units that are made by different manufacturers, and then there's the parts are so far away. If you need new ones, it just makes more sense to buy from the United States. They're right there.
Yeah, and that's where Vancy guy said Finland, 5.5 million people bought 64 F-35s, delivery this summer. Finland has offered to train Canadian pilots when they get our planes in 5 years. Canada's not a serious country anymore.
No. Like the world used to come here to train. I mean, we have wide open spaces. We got bombing ranges galore. If you want to fly at Mach 3 for 2 hours, you can do it in northern Alberta. And now we're going to go train in Finland. Come on, makes no sense.
Yeah, the best F-35s we're going to see in the air in Canada or the United States coming to pop Chinese spy balloons out of our airspace.
Jeez. Yeah, when they were making that announcement about the snowbirds, the people there behind the scene looked so sad. I mean, imagine that.
Yeah.
You just joined the Canadian Air Force, and then you're all gung-ho, and then that's on your dream. You saw the recruitment. You saw the snowbirds when you're 17 years old or 16, and you're dreaming about it. And now you just find out. And by the way, no planes for the snowbirds until 2030, but they ordered the planes. They ordered prop-driven planes. So in 2030, the snowbirds will have planes, but they'll be prop-driven. And everybody's like, well, don't worry. They're still fast. They're like 600 kilometers an hour. And yeah, but they're prop driven, man. We're going backwards.
Going backwards.
We went from jets back to props. No, that's not progress, man. That's backwards.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Let's see. Albertan Peasant says, what defines consultation, being as it does not mean we have to follow their suggestions, right? Ask and walk away and continue on. No?
I'd say in the modern world, but in the modern world, consultation is being equated to consent or consensus. You can't just consult them; you have to get them on board. And yeah, it's overly ridiculous. Overly ridiculous. We got to get past this. I'm on the record as saying we're being held hostage by a handful of people, and it's annoying.
And they're cry bullies too. It's not serious contenders.
You guys are in the same boat. I mean, BC's an even bigger can of worms, I think, because at least here there's sort of a fallback, which is we sign treaties and you can fall back to the treaties. BC doesn't even have treaties. The land is unceded. The consultation there can get pretty ugly, right? We can throw the treaty card at them. I don't know what you guys are going to do.
There's
vote out EB is what you're going to do. He's losing, right? Yeah.
But what comes in and replaces him? That's the crazy part.
Yeah, Byron's for $2 says, Marty, keep playing.
Yeah, I will. I don't give up that easily. I mean, not only do I not give up that easily, but it's actually fun. I like pissing off people and fighting and doing politics. It's actually
but sometimes you got to give up on a strategy, and you need to go find a new strategy, because losing and making the same mistake over and over again, it's just
not doing that. No,
self-defeating.
This is Kimmer 4761 for $6.99 says, is it true Anita and Nan going on Joe Rogan? With a bunch of laughing faces.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
I couldn't see that happening.
No.
That would be funny though.
Oh, that would be torn apart by logic.
Is this a rumor that's actually going around at the moment?
First time I've heard that one. I haven't heard that.
Same. Yeah, same. I haven't heard of that at all.
Yeah, I remember what Joe Rogan did to Sanjay Gupta.
Oh man, that was funny. Do you know that moment, Marty? Where Sanjay Gupta, he was one of those doctors TV doctors during the COVID era, and he was the one who lambasted Rogan for the whole horse paste thing, and Joe had him on the show and just called him right out on it. Very embarrassing moment for that guy, and he tried to backpedal and say, well, that was just. It was the network or whatever. And he's like, no, it was you. You said horse paste. It's people drugs. I was taking people drugs, and you called it horse paste.
One thing I'm glad of in the last couple of weeks, I think the Ebola, was it Ebola? Is that, oh no, antivirus, right? That, what's the new
Well,
one that they tried?
they're switching to Ebola because nobody was as scared of the antivirus.
But I'm glad, right? I'm glad. I mean, that there's been some pushback and it didn't seem to go as well. I mean, actually, like, thank God for the Americans, right? I mean, we didn't talk about but this week Donald Trump did talk. Like, I said earlier, Carney came to Alberta, still promising a pipeline, but the pipeline comes with a big, giant condition. You have to do this thing called Pathways Alliance, right? And Pathways Alliance is is a collaboration between the big producers, and they were going to build a pipeline and capture carbon and inject carbon. So Carney basically said, do that first, and then we'll talk about other things. And I can't believe we are kind of on the fence and almost thinking of going down that path, because that's all part of the climate change bullshit narrative. And meanwhile, in the US this week, they pretty much said that all the UN stuff and everything of the last 20 years was all bullshit. Like, it's coming out as one big giant sack of lies. And
yeah, the UN came out and said that it's not as big a threat as we once had said it was. It's a soft way of saying, yeah, it was BS. It was totally BS.
Yeah, I mean, even Greta Thunberg is. We joked about her last week. She finally puberty kicked in, and she's more interested in boys now than climate change. All of a sudden, she's like, she's on to something else. I'm pretty sure we're going to see her at Coachella soon, and she'll just be rocking it out, and then climate change is done. It'll end somewhere.
She's already all about Palestine and not climate change anymore. She's moved on. So. A new grift, but that's it. It's all just going to be new grifts. You have to be prepared. One grift ends, the next grift begins. But I'm very excited that the BS of climate change we're moving past it, because we can actually. Well,
the Americans are moving.
Canada's doubling down.
We're doubling down, man. We're not moving past it, not at all. Yep.
America's moving past it, and now America is what's the first time since the Second World War net exporter of energy. This is amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
Good news.
That's good. Curtin Denise for member for 4 months says, "What do you think of the exit tax? You're gonna pay?"
Well, you gotta have something of mine that you can take. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna
no. That's a reference to that guy from Google who gave the speech there at the Liberal convention, who said that one way to curb the brain drain. That was the former guy from Google said you can curb the brain drain by charging $500,000 to young Canadians who want to leave.
Yeah,
that's you're right. If you have no assets, then you have no assets. But to that guy, I just say, fuck you. Just go pound sand, period.
Yeah.
Like, what a hypocrite.
That guy
made a fortune by moving to the US, working for Google. Then he comes back here, classic boomer, and says, well, I made my fortune. You guys can't make yours. Exactly.
Yeah,
play the clip. Yeah.
On the other side of it, let me give a bit of a sober on the protect side. So let me give you a few facts. In Canada, the minute you have your degree, if it's a professional degree, right? There's something in the Canada kind of free trade agreement. I got the wrong acronym, but you get it. It's called the TN program. So Microsoft, I finished from University of Waterloo with my computer degree. Microsoft phones me, offers me a job, 300 grand a year, right? All I have to do is show up at the border, apply for a TN visa, right? And I get this 3-year, like no questions asked. It costs $30. And now I moved to Microsoft. We as Canadians have subsidized my education to the tune of, you pick the number, $500,000, right? 500,000. And if it's a graduate student, go up, right? 30,000 TN go to the US every year. You want to save yourself $5 to $10 billion? Shut the TN program. And then keep them in, or make them pay their $500,000 so that if they leave, I'm okay with that. You want to go to the US? Give me back my money. Like my dad, my mom, you all work every day.
I hate this way of thinking. How about you make it attractive for us to want to stay here? How about you do that?
Well,
Like,
there's two things. There's two things at play there. For one, he's complaining about the subsidization of the collegiate system in Canada, and it's like, well, yeah, I would agree. Let's stop subsidizing in the first place.
could do that.
Universities want to compete. But that's the thing, they can't compete. They want to subsidize it because they want to inject every graduate program with a bunch of BS that you don't actually need. And this is where legislation could come in. You could have a piece of legislation come in and say, well, you can have all these padded
Well,
tuitions, but they have to be opt-in only. And this is, I think in some states they've passed this, where if the university wants to offer all this other stuff, you can opt out and only pay for what your education that you're after is, and everything else is like on the university to pay for.
but the other side of this clip too is he didn't show somebody else speaking a year earlier saying, "Oh, we'll solve the medical crisis and by bringing in a bunch of South African doctors, and we'll bring in a bunch of nurses, and like we do it to other countries, and then we get pissed off when other countries do it to us." Like that's
Well,
just
guess what? It is
Yeah.
happening. It's going to be happening in the trades like you have no idea in the next 18 months or so. When Canadians realize that if what you're saying about the Alberta independence movement is dead in the water because of these court decisions, people are done. They're
Yeah,
ready
yeah.
to go. They've been ready to go for a while, but they've been sticking around on this one hope. So uh computer science, yeah, that's a thing of the past. Most of it's trade workers. That's the big concern. When tradespeople leave Canada, that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really bad because I mean, who's gonna build pipelines? Well, you don't want pipelines built. Well, you won't have the people to build them if they're moving to the United States. That's the
Pipeline's
crazy
too hard
part.
for most people to understand. I mean, your trades are who's going to fix your air conditioner in your house, or your
Mhm.
boiler when it springs a leak, or your deck when it needs to be replaced. Those are the trades that are going to hurt people. Is
Mhm.
closer to home. Absolutely. Yeah, I've been on the record as saying this lately. If you can do your job from home, sort of like what we're doing right now, in fact, if your job is just podcasting from home, you're going to be replaced by AI. If you work at home 5 days out of the week, unless of course you got a real true home business, like I don't know, you have people visit at your house and do work at your house, or you have a little shop or something like that. But if your entire day consists of sitting at a computer and entering data for the government or somebody, and you can do your job from your home, you're out of a job in the next 3 years. AI is going to revolutionize. It won't even take 10 years. It'll be 3-4 years. Hey, by the way, in Terminator came out in 1987, like 40 years ago. Like, and when and Schwarzenegger in Terminator was coming back from the year 2030. Right. So Skynet and all that was in 2030. So we're whoever wrote Terminator is pretty darn close. We're 4 years away from a war with the machines.
Yeah, T800,
Yeah.
T800. Look forward to it. That was a shift, Marty. Yeah,
Oh, it made
we're
me
about
think
to
of
have the
that, but
war.
yeah.
Yeah, I got another one from Myron's. I think he's talking about the planes again. It's not just the parts are right there. It's literally that we need each other to look after our backyard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
well,
the Americans are looking at it this way. They're already looking after the backyard. They're already looking after North America, greater North America. And Canada is just pretending that they have some sort of decision in that factor, or that there's some sort of joint effort going on there when there hasn't been for decades. It's been America protecting the space over Canada, and Donald Trump has a right to say, listen, if you're going to get all the benefits of being a state but never paying into the federal government like every other state does, you should be a state. You should be paying the federal government for this protection, which every other, you know, the amount of money that states pay into the federal government in the United States is astronomical. Canada gets it all for free. Get out of town. That's crazy. So yeah, America definitely has a right to be pissed off about it.
European shits. European. What? Am I on mute? No.
No.
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah.
Yeah, European shit's just weird, anyways, right? I mean, there is a fundamental difference between the way Americans and Canadians build stuff and the Europeans build stuff. Like it's European stuff is often too complicated and overly complicated and blah blah blah. Like there is a reason. There's another reason to buy stuff from the U.S. It's just different. It suits our culture. You don't want you get into it. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm pretty sure if you get into a European like Griffin plane or something like that, it probably feels different than if you get into an F-15. You'd be just like, what the hell am I getting into? Like, it doesn't feel right.
I know Airbus and Boeing. Yeah, they feel different. So
yeah.
So
different cultures, different philosophies.
Yeah, Metric and Imperial.
Oh God, don't even get started.
Yeah, so we had another one from Alberta Peasant for $5. Says, doesn't the pipeline agreement come with nasty contracts that can't be walked back by government once implemented? Seen on Moose.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that for 1 second. Of course, stipulations and
Well, I worked on big projects like that, on big contract. They're very complicated. I mean, and a pipeline project, the size that we're talking about, they are kind of a chicken and egg thing, right? Like you got to go out. Like I worked for TransCanada, so we would go out and visit Cenovus and CNRL and sort of like say, okay, how much oil do you think you guys are going to produce, and how much would you send down how big do I make the pipeline, right? And they'd say, well, we're going to do 100,000 barrels a day roughly. So I'd be like, okay, I'll commit to building 100,000 barrels, but you need to commit to sending me 100,000 barrels every day for 30 years. So you're kind of like, you know what I mean? Like you are doing you got to find your clients. Your clients got to sign up for a deal. And of course you say, like, if you're the first client, you're taking a chance, right? Like Clyde, you're the first guy, and so you say, I'm on board, but only if you succeed in finding 2-3 more other clients. I'm like, yeah, leave it up to me. Then I go meet UG and he's okay. And then I have a hard time finding that last one. Then there's exit strategies and the whole thing can collapse. But yeah, Alberta Peasant's right. I mean, it's once you start going down that path. Well, Keystone was an example. The UCP government here gave the US gave TransCanada $1 billion on Keystone that they never got back because the project didn't get built, but that money was spent. And it's just like, these are big bucks, man. Big bucks. And life, they're overly complicated now by the fact that when you're doing that chicken and egg thing, you have to sort of trust each other, and nobody trusts anybody right now. Nobody trusts the government. Like, yeah, if I went to meet a shipper, I'm like, hey, what are you thinking? Do you think you could commit for 30 years? They're gonna go pound sand, man. They're like, no, I'll go invest in the Middle East and then I'll come back here in 30 years when you guys have sorted out your shit. And Carney's not understanding that. Well, he does understand it because he doesn't like he's if he was serious about turning Canada into an energy superpower, which he keeps talking about, then he'd get rid of a whole bunch of bullshit laws. But he's not. I mean, as long as he's got a carbon
he would back off of all of his carbon emission stuff,
totally
zero and all that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the most annoying line.
Committed?
Yeah, that's the most annoying line Carney keeps repeating, right? Like, your clients want that we're forcing you to we're imposing a carbon tax on you because that's what the rest of the world wants. I'm like, how about you let me ask my clients? Like, how about I ask them, like, hey, Clyde, do you want me to decarbonize my oil? You know what most of my clients would say? I don't give a shit. Like, I just want a barrel of oil. Like, I don't but I put out a little bit of emissions while I was producing my barrel. It's like, yeah, I don't care.
Don't care.
It's been tried.
You gotta get it to me.
Yeah, that's the speech. That was brutal this week. Like, that's the one where he's like turning to EB and saying, yeah, ignore, like, he listen to what he says. I think it's only 2 minutes long, or not even.
2 million Canadians to transition from expensive propane, oil, electric baseboard heating to more affordable electric heat pumps. And with the right investment, 7 in 10 Canadians will pay less for their energy by 2050. That's more than $15 billion back into their pockets.
Who cares about
Go back to my
2050?
theme. In a
Not even at
rapidly
2030.
changing world, Canada must become the source of affordable, clean, and reliable power. Because when we master energy, we master our destiny.
We mastered energy, you fucking moron.
We had it.
mastered it.
It was pretty good.
We can do nuclear if you want. We can do oil. We can do gas. We had coal. We mastered it. Now but he mentioned the key word, heat pumps. Who makes heat pumps?
Brookfields are a subsidiary of.
Exactly. And then 2050, Clyde, in 2050, well, I'll be dead. 2050, is that, how many years is that from now? That's 26?
24.
Yeah, I'll be
24
dead.
years.
I'll be dead in 2050. I'm pretty much willing to bet on that, but or if I'm not dead, I'll have been arrested.
But I mean, I get it. It's good to look forward and way into the future and see where your policies will bring us. But if your policies are a net negative today, how do you feel that they're going to be good in 2050? That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but they're looking into the future as a way to avoid anything today. It's not even, it's not, it's not, yeah. Yeah.
Frustrating.
Yeah. Kurt and Dennis for $2 says go Canadian exit tax. It's already a thing.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The exit tax is a thing. But the thing is, anyone who's smart moves their assets before they move themselves. So if the assets aren't in the country, then they can't tax the assets. That's it. So if you're planning to leave the country, move your stuff ahead of time. Yeah, that's it. Sell your house, move those assets. Don't do it after the fact when and who's even saying hey government, I'm leaving. I did that once and it bit me in the ass. And not because they gave me an exit tax. When I moved to Japan years ago, I moved back to Canada more than 15 years ago. But when I was younger, my wife and I moved to Japan and we lived in Japan for 3 years. I called the government of British Columbia because they were the ones that ran MSP and medical service plan. At the time, we had to pay premiums. So I called them up and said, yeah, just letting you know, I have my own insurance. I'm no longer going to be a resident of British Columbia. Stop charging me. 3 years later, when I came back and said, hi, I'd like to sign back up for MSP, they're like, oh, yeah, well, you never paid for 3 years and we've sent it to collections. What? I called you to tell you I won't be here. And you continued to try to charge me after the facts and sent it to collections. Yeah, that was a hassle. So, I mean, what's the point? Don't even tell the government you're leaving if you don't ever plan on coming back.
Yeah, well, they don't know where anybody is, so yeah, you might as well.
Especially after that census.
Yeah. Oh, what a joke.
Yeah, Myron's for $10 says the whole cold thing for the Griffin is stupid. Pretty sure the U.S. has that figured out. They have cold northern states that share our weather, plus Alaska.
Yeah, we're famous for that, right? We're famous for that's one of the more famous requirements. We never shop around and just buy something that somebody else has developed. The Canadian military adds its own things, right? It has to be the stampings on the side of the plane or on the side of the rifle have to be bilingual. So you can't just say safe. You have to, we complicate it. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to figure it out, right? Give me the gun and I'll put a sticker on it or I'll paint it red or whatever. And then the cold thing is the same thing. We put these ridiculous standards on everything that it has to operate in minus 50. How often do we fight in minus 50? But the grease and what do the vendors do, Clyde? What do they do, right? They go, oh yeah, we'll sell you that same rifle and it comes with Arctic grease. And then they charge you $3,000 extra because they gave you a special can of WD-40, whatever.
Yeah, you know where the Arctic grease comes out of? It comes out of the not Arctic grease jug.
Yeah.
It gets labeled Arctic grease. It's the same damn shit.
Yeah. No, we We disqualify. We do it on purpose. I mean, some standards are fine. Like maybe you know, I could accept that you would say, you know, the plane needs to go a little bit farther than a standard plane because our distances are greater, and you might be a longer distance between the refuel. Fine, that's a valid spec. But some of the specs we keep requiring make no sense. Make no sense. Like, buy off the shelf, man.
Yeah. Well, considering F-35s went to Iran recently and weren't able to stop in Europe, and they just fueled mid-flight.
Yeah.
I mean, just buy the equipment that needs to be.
Yeah, buy a refueler.
Brought.
Yeah.
Just get the right equipment.
Yep. Got $5 from Peter from Edmonton. You know him.
Yeah, Peter, how you doing?
Oh, Peter. Yeah.
Yeah. Says, did you see Germany lost 486,000 jobs in the first quarter?
Wow. Holy crap. I mean, I would say, oh yeah, go figure, but that many? That's great. 500,000.
We're
500,000 jobs in one quarter.
Proportionally, we're not much better off, actually. I mean, we're up there. Like we, you know, the reports keep coming out that we lose jobs. We are losing jobs, but then when you dive into the report and you realize we're losing full-time jobs more than we're losing part-time jobs, and so we're really losing like and then the only offset is government jobs. But no, I didn't know that about Germany. How big is Germany? It's about 50% bigger than Canada. Is it a 60 million people? 60, 70? Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
83.5 million.
Oh shit! So it's twice our size. Okay, yeah. So that's a big number. That's a lot of people. Yeah.
That's huge.
Got a $10 super chat from Mr. Carter. It says, Marty, what is the deal in the background with Alberta oil? We sell the U.S. for a discount, and then Albertans pay market price at pump. Why Alberta oil, not 25 cents like Kuwait, Saudis?
Oh no, that's all taxes. I hear that all the time. I mean, sure, we sell our oil at a slight discount, but it's the feedstock. The cost of the feedstock when it comes to gasoline is just this much of the overall price. The rest of the price is all taxes, right? I mean, when you pay $1.80 for a liter of gasoline, I'm guaranteeing you're paying about $1 in taxes in there. Only 80 cents is the value of the oil, the feedstock.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And that's a fact. Most countries like Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, the big oil producers, they give their citizens a massive discount. Like they give them cheap oil without taxes on it. Like we tax everything. We just tax everything, man. We tax everything.
Well, people. I think some people misunderstand the discount that goes to the United States. Like they're not getting it at a discount because we're like just so nice. We're giving them a discount. They get it at a discount because who else is going to buy it?
We cut our throats. Yeah. Because here, the producers here kind of cut their throats a little bit to. The
discount's not offered.
No.
The price that they'll purchase it for is offered to the Canadians. And if they don't want to sell it, well, what are you going to stockpile it? Stop production? Like, what do you can't do any of this stuff. So yeah, the Americans are like, no, this is the price we'll buy it for. We're not buying.
Yeah, and the other
market value. You couldn't even say no to us. So
the other perceived discount is the fact that the oil generally is traded in U.S. dollars, and we're 70% discount because our dollar is so shitty compared to the U.S. So then our oil appears cheap, right? I mean, you're getting a barrel of Canadian oil in Canadian dollars converted to US. Well, you get a 30% discount, like right off the bat. Thank you, cha-ching.
But yeah, if you want that to change, get a pipeline to the coast. It's the only thing that'll change that.
It's counterintuitive. Most people just don't understand that. If we had a bigger pipeline, then the price of oil, the price we get is better. Absolutely, is better because our guys are. Here's an example. I give this to people, right? If you're growing carrots and I'm growing carrots and we have a little more carrots than the guy who's buying the carrots, one month I'm the guy who gets the first deal, and then you have to try and undersell me the next month to get the deal from the buyer. And so the oil guys do the same thing. We're fighting to sell our barrels because the Americans can buy oil from all sorts of places. So of course they buy it cheaper from us. Yeah. And actually it's worth, somebody told me something like that differential is about $16 million a day. Like that's $16 million a day adds up, right? Times 365. Like that's an extra $1.5 billion in revenue that could be just like that. Pays for a new pipeline pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what is it? The Saudis, they've committed to a new pipeline, and they'll have it done in a year.
Iran to go, or not Abu Dhabi or the Emirates. They'll go across. They're gonna
Oh,
shave.
UAE.
They're gonna shave across the Strait of Hormuz. That's pretty cool. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
it'll-
And then
It'll make the Gulf safer too, because that's a bottleneck, and there could be all sorts of accidents there. So now nobody needs to enter the Gulf.
But
Yeah.
they can literally do it in a year, and they will. They'll pull it off.
Same with us, right? Like that's like not EB. Carney again goes back and says, "Oh, there needs to be consultation and this and this and this and this and this and this and this." You don't think we've consulted with everybody on everything, and we've evaluated every imaginable path to build a pipeline across the BC? Like, why would if he's serious, you just go to TransCanada and go, "Have you studied this proposal before?" And some guy goes, "Yeah, I got it right here." Here, what do you want to build? There's the pipeline, right? It's been done, and we've consulted with everybody, but he's going to make us start all over again constantly. Like there isn't, everything's been consulted.
Isn't his timeline like 9 years?
Well, he'll at least till the next election, anyways. Nothing's going to be.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah, pull this one up.
That's a
viral for
generous
$100.
Wow.
Wait,
Thank
how
you,
much?
Mike.
What?
$100.
Thank you so much. Really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank you. That's not pesos like last time.
Says there is a thing there when it comes to oil. I used to work in a bit in manufacturing it, and apparently you had to educate people on the difference of two-stroke oil for boats versus chainsaws versus lawnmowers. It all came out of the same tank, but different labels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
It's like Duff and
Not
Duff.
this
Like
one.
there it is. There.
yeah.
I was just thinking that one.
I mean, Clyde, that's your world, right, Clyde? I mean, you like you probably have people who go, oh, I want my oil change, and it's got to be 20W40 synthetic, and you're like, dude, I could put 040 and it's going to do the same thing, right? You're like, I use transmission oil in my chainsaw. I mean, if you got a little jug of transmission fluid kicking by, you can use it as bar oil. It doesn't, slightly different viscosity. Absolutely. Myron.
Yeah, well, we see it a lot. There's a bunch of different manufacturers. The one that gets me the most is the different coolants, because they tell you like, oh, if you accidentally put a little bit of that coolant in with this coolant, it'll gel. And we were talking about this at the shop just before I left for Japan. So I asked the other techs, because we see it all the time. People mix coolant. Like, have you ever seen coolant gel? Not a single technician has seen it.
No,
Not one.
Not one.
So that's it.
Yeah, but Myron, there's a greater point to his comment, which is most Canadians have a low understanding of almost any issue. Never mind energy. I mean, energy is a very, like, people, I hear it all the time. Oh, coal is dirt. It burns dirt, or natural gas burns cleaner than oil. I'm like, sure, but if you put it in a barrel, but if you atomize oil properly with the right controls, the right system, it burns just as cleanly as gas. You can even get coal to burn pretty darn cleanly, right?
You,
So
you can get anything to burn clean. Marty,
Totally.
like, I mean, in Japan, I love this. Your garbage. You have two bins. You know how they separate it? They don't separate it from recyclables versus whatever refuse. Can it burn? Can it not burn?
right.
That's
Burn
it.
goes into the incinerator, can't burn goes to some other place.
Yeah. And
Something
the
like that.
incinerators, like they incinerate everything here, and it's clean as hell. It goes in, They incinerate it. It goes through a series of catalysts and all kinds of other things. Because you have to understand, when it goes through a catalyst, the chemical reaction with the catalyst actually produces more heat. So you can take that heat energy and turn it into more energy. So by cleaning out the fumes off of it, you actually get more energy. So it's more efficient all around. And you're left with like these blocks of like carbon soot. And then that gets transferred to a landfill. That's it.
Yeah. No, it's like the argument about diesel. You know, we got to ban diesels because they burn dirty. No, you can have a pretty clean burning diesel. That's why the climate scam always worked too. It was easy to blame carbon dioxide. You don't even see carbon dioxide. You don't even know what it is. Most people wouldn't have a clue what carbon dioxide is. But, you know, by the way, when you were talking about Japan, I thought you were going to go somewhere else. But how many times have you seen garbage cans in the mall? You know, like they got the 3 holes at the top, right? Green for compostable, blue for recyclables, and whatever, black for waste. And then there's one garbage bag, and there's no compartments, right? So so you got people that walk up and they like go, oh, this is compostable, and they put it in that, and then underneath it's all going in the same bucket, folks. Like, and I tell you, that goes on more often than people realize. Like, they collect it, and then it all goes to a sorting facility.
It all goes into one bag. Funny. Yeah. In Japan, it's burnable stuff and not burnable. And then they also collect like pet bottles like this. Like, just, this is what they call it, a pet bottle, but just like, little plastic bottles. And those end up going to a facility where they mulch it. And
do they have deposits? Do they do deposits on things? Oh, they don't even do deposits. Wow.
No. I mean, that's an incentive structure that Canada thought would be a good system. It just creates a job for bums and crack addicts. Really.
If you look at I look at my wife's bills once in a while, like the now there's a deposit when you buy, let's say, a 12-pack of Coke, and there's an environmental fee, like
on top of it.
Yeah, and some of these fees I think are just pure profit. I don't even know if they're legislated. Like Walmart just like, oh yeah, we charge 10-cent environmental fee for every case of Coke you buy. I'm like, that's 10 cents profit. That's just like that, like pure profit every week, every day.
It goes to the government, and it's supposed to be to fix the environmental damage down the road but it goes into general coffers. Like it's not earmarked.
No.
There's nobody's keeping track of the numbers. It's just
I can't tell you how many times I explain that with things like road taxes. People always say, "Oh, gasoline tax has a road tax." No, it's not a road tax. It's a gasoline tax that goes in general coffers. You think that the money that the tax collected on gasoline only goes to paving roads? And some people go, "Yeah." I'm like, wow, okay.
No.
Yeah, show me in this ledger, in this government book here, where road taxes are different. They're not.
No.
Fuck.
I got $2 super chat from Alberta Peasant. So Marty for Alberta Premier.
I'm going to see Danielle Smith one day this summer, I'm sure, at a town hall, and I'm actually going to bluntly ask her, like, so Danielle, if I decide to run as an MLA, are you going to kill my nomination? I just want to know. Like, I'll tell her, like, be honest. Like, are you going to...
I don't see that. I just don't see it.
I don't think I could run. Eva Chipiak is you bring Eva back on the show, and Eva is trying to gather a bunch of people. Eva thinks we need to go one step further. She's all about citizen engagement, right? Like engaged citizens. That's the title of her book, and she's all about like we need to run more people like me and you as candidates in upcoming elections. And that's what I told her. I'm like, the parties won't have me. I'm too, no matter what, every political party makes you toe the line to a certain degree, right? I even the PPC, I think, would make me toe the line. You're never free to speak completely your mind. And I think you and I and others like us are too opinionated. Parties won't have us.
No. And there's only one direction I'm running anyway.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they had Aaron Gunn. Like, did they let somebody like Aaron into the party? But he seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah. I preferred him as a journalist, though. I respect his choice to be a politician, but I think he did better work as a journalist than as a politician.
Yeah, he's a little more hard hitting.
Yeah.
All right, our owns for $5 says the coolant will turn color only.
Yeah. So like you get your basic 3-color chart, and then you'll find out what color it'll become when you mix the 2 colors. That's all it is. It's like, yeah, Volkswagens have the pink stuff, Hondas have the blue stuff, whatever, who cares?
I go to the pick and pull once in a while, to get parts, and then at the do you guys have pick and pulls? You know what I'm talking about? Like
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. You go get it yourself.
Yeah. And then when they get an old car and they're and before they put it out in the yard, they empty all the fluids out of it, right? And at the front, they always have jugs of coolant. And they're all multicolors, like it's like rainbows, right? And $2 gets you a jug of coolant. And yeah, I agree. Put whatever the hell you want in there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, my
rule water of thumb concentration does matter, though, right? You got to be.
Yes,
you got to run your coolant to the right density. I mean, it's counterintuitive. If pure glycol water mix is an interesting. It's an interesting mix, right? It has pure glycol will freeze at a lower temperature than once it's mixed with water. It's counterintuitive, but you add water and it
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always check that, but like the discussion we had at the shop was, if you're draining an entire cooling system and then you're filling it up again, like who cares what color you put in? You put all new shit in there.
Who has the nice orange stuff though? I like the orange stuff.
That's
Ford.
GM.
GM. What do they call theirs? The
Dex Cool.
Dex Cool is orange. Yeah. And then who has yellow?
That's Ford.
Ford is yellow. Then it used to be sort of green fluorescent was the common color. Like interesting. I didn't know that somebody had a blue one.
Yeah, Honda has blue.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Byron's for $2 says carbon dioxide is a gas of life.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the carbon molecule itself, it's the molecule of life. It's everywhere. We're carbon creatures. Like that's it. Everything revolves around it. It's everywhere. And what was it recently? The study came out of Europe, I believe. I can't remember what university, but they discovered that carbon dioxide in the atmosphere follows much closer to the temperature of the oceans. So you can track the temperature of the oceans, and it follows. And there was like a rise in temperature at one point. Because of some volcano that burst.
Al Gore made the claim that that carbon dioxide increased first, which led to an increase in temperature. That was Al Gore's argument. But then as everybody always pointed out, but that's not even what your graph shows. And the graph shows the other way around. It's increase in carbon dioxide comes after an increase in temperature. The number one thing that increases is the temperature of the oceans increase, and that the higher water temperature, you have lower ability to dissolve gas. So when the temperature of the ocean increases, the oceans, we call it off gas, they release carbon dioxide, all the carbon dioxide that's trapped. So then the question becomes, why would the ocean suddenly increase? And the answer to that is just shifts in the volcanic and the Earth's core and the crust and other things. I mean, there's a lot of heat in the core, and then it comes from the bottom and it heats the ocean. That's it. And and everybody ignored Al Gore's data, even though his own data was right there. It's like, you're drawing a different conclusion than what your data says, Al.
It's the cart before the horse.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
That's what it was.
And then everybody's like, well, what would make the temperature of the Earth change? It's like, it can change for a lot of reasons, man. The sun puts out a little more output and suddenly it increases, or it goes the other way. And everybody always ignores that in the middle of the Earth, what is there? There's this big giant ball of molten core of the earth that sloshes around, by the way, so much so that it makes the earth wobble. Like it's, anyways. Yeah. But no,
Yes.
carbon dioxide bad.
You got to just trust the science, Marty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're explaining science much better than anyone can fathom on the political side of things. But no, just trust the science. It's how you do things.
All right.
Man.
Another $10 for my Rones. Says only Alberta and Saskatchewan do the return on bottles.
What? Is that right?
Well, BC does it too.
Yeah, BC
Like a
does it as
deposit
well.
on bottle. There's got to be a few other places that have deposits.
I remember
on
growing
bottles.
up in Ontario, they had deposits on bottles as well.
Yeah.
People would go back to the beer store, the government run.
Oh, the beer store.
entity.
Remember, you had to bring back the beer bottles right back. Nobody else would take the beer bottles other than the beer store.
Other than the beer store.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people would like rock up and there's a return section at the beer store. Yeah,
When
it's
I
such
was
a
young at the beer store,
weird thing.
there was no displays. Like our beer store was a very small place, and they had all the beers sort of on the shelf, and you just say, "I'll take a case of whatever OV," and then it would just roll out on the.
Yeah, they have the little speaker like fast food restaurants used to have.
Yeah, you'd roll your empty cases on one side, and then a fresh one would come out on the other side, and then you had about 6 beers you could choose from. Old Vienna, Labatt's Blue, whatever. Yeah.
Dude, being away from that and then thinking back of the memories of what it actually is in Ontario, it's like it's Soviet era shit. What are you talking about? You walk into a little room and it's got a couple of choices. You say it, they say it over a loudspeaker in the back, and there's
And
somebody in like a
only
freezer.
open certain days of the week, or
Roars.
only open from noon till 5 on Monday to Thursday, open late on Saturday, closed on Sunday, right? Actually, I shouldn't laugh. Alberta was the same way. When I lived up north, when I was a younger guy living in Fox Creek, you had to plan your weekend. Like if you'd go to the liquor store and get your booze and everything, because if you ran out on Sunday, there was no liquor stores were closed on the weekend. Even though we had private liquor stores, the law here where they were closed on Sundays for the longest time.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I take advantage of it. Like I'm in Japan. You can, if I want a beer, I just go to the convenience store and get a beer. And
you guys do that in BC too, don't you? Or no?
No.
Quebec does. Quebec sells liquor,
Quebec
or
does.
no, just beer, not liquor, just beer. Yeah, beer.
Oh, I mean, I could get a bottle of whiskey at the convenience store. At 7-Eleven, I can get a bottle of whiskey.
In Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like anything you want, as long as people buy the stuff, they'll sell it.
Oh, okay.
And there's no time limit of when they get cut off. Like even in Texas, you can go to a 7-Eleven and get a case of beer, but after I think it's 11 o'clock, they're not allowed to sell beer anymore. So like it's there, we just can't buy it.
Wow.
Yeah, in Japan, yeah, you can be up all night, and you can drink it wherever you want too. So like me and friends, we'll go to a convenience store and then we'll just walk around like downtown area in Tokyo, one of the downtown areas, and just drink a beer from the convenience store.
Whereas we've banned all fun here, like during all the long weekends in the summer now, they're banning alcohol consumption in all the national and provincial parks. So if you go to Banff on a long weekend, you're not allowed to drink in the campground in Banff on a long weekend, even though you got a tent and everything else. They're cracking down on fun, just totally cracking down on fun.
That's retarded.
You can't afford it anyways, but
yeah, that's the other thing. The taxes on alcohol as well. This is the funniest part. I always tell people this. I might get a bottle of it just to do a video on it. Canadian Club, which is made in Windsor, Ontario, is cheaper to buy here than it is to buy at Hiram Walker's.
That's all taxes, right? That's
But the degree of how much, it's like $35 for a 700 ml bottle in Windsor, Ontario, where they brew it and distill it. Japan, same bottle, is I think it's around 1,400 yen, which is like $13. Same bottle. The only difference is it's traveled across the entire planet to get here.
Wow.
Insane. And it's not like Japan doesn't have alcohol taxes. They do. So there's taxes on that to make it $13. It's just unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is actually, that'd be an interesting, like I said, for gasoline, I know that about maybe at most 50% of the cost of a liter of gasoline is the feedstock. The rest is taxed. What's the feedstock in a bottle of whiskey? A little bit of rye or some corn and thyme. It's mostly thyme. I mean, making whiskey is not that expensive, right? It's heat, water, and a mash of some sort, but then you need to age it for a while, and that happens naturally. But yeah, the input cost of making a bottle of whiskey are probably not that expensive.
No.
Like, I mean, yeah, I could ask Rock, but I some other day.
now people might say like, well, Clyde, it goes to Japan and then there's a bottling place in Japan. Like, yeah, but that just kind of proves the point of what Doug Ford was pissed off about. The Ontario bottling plant in Amherstburg is closing down. It's because it's not economical to do it. So they're just moving that operation to the United States so they can bottle Crown Royal.
Send Crown Royal by the truckload to the US and then bottle it down there. That makes more sense. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Still the same whiskey.
Do they bottle it and then send it back to Canada?
Maybe. No, I think the stuff that's in Canada is bottled in a place in Quebec. So it's made in Manitoba and then it's shipped to Quebec where there's a bottling facility for the Canadian market.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one in Amherstburg was for the American market. It just made more sense to close that and open up in America.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, you got Myron's for $10 again. It says pure ethylene glycol will freeze at -11.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, when you add water, then it freezes at -45 or whatever at that. So it's pretty counterintuitive. Pretty cool product. And actually, no, now you're talking my language. I'm a chemical engineer, so like glycol's an interesting family of chemicals.
And Myron's again for $10. Says, look up ship tracks even on CBC several years ago. Unintended consequences. The ships used to use heavy diesel. Now not allowed. No more sulfur. Now the ocean's warming up. Go figure.
Yeah, it's warming up after all these efforts to stop the warming. Oh, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That heavy diesel stuff, that's like sludge almost, right?
Yeah. Well, then they use bunker C, which is like the scrapings at the bottom of the distillation tower. I don't even know how they feed it into the boilers. Like it must be pushed in with a almost what do you call it?
They'd have to heat it up first, right?
They heat it up but it's really nasty stuff. Like I can almost smell it. Just the bottoms of the refinery is really nasty smelling. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I wanted to just one briefly. We'll probably learn more about this later, but did you hear the story about? Well, first it was Lindsay Shepherd.
Yeah.
The CBC tried to basically lampoon her and some other people that on this. They calling it a prank show. It's like CBC's like literally at it was a prank bro stage of their broadcast career.
They got caught, and that's what they're trying to say. But yeah, it was a disgusting hit piece. It was like she was being
set up.
Yeah, she's being set up. Yeah, I mean they got caught,
but it was under false pretense, right? So the idea was that they came to her with this whole show idea. They had an American outfit that was behind all
fake
of
names
this.
and everything. I mean, she had no idea. Like she thought she was being interviewed by legitimate people, that she was dealing with legitimate people, and it was all a setup to try and basically discredit her, get her off guard, saying things, whatever. Like they're basically
it was a bait and switch.
Yeah, it's something you'd expect a spy agency or somebody to do, not not the CBC or not, not a media. Who told me that story? The story was broken by her husband, right? Like Cosmin is her, I didn't know they were married, but yeah, that's her husband.
So it goes even further. So get this, another YouTuber who's a friend of mine, his name's Clinton Jaws. So he was roped into another one by the same agency because what they wanted to do was lampoon former RCMP officers. And they came to him with this story, said, "Hey, we'll pay you a whole bunch of cash. Come on out to Vancouver, and we're having this story about former RCMP." And it was supposed to be this happy-go-lucky thing. And they fly him out, give him a hotel room, and they really wanted him to wear his like formal RCMP clothing for this thing, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not feeling that." They're like, "No. Oh, if it doesn't fit you, we have other RCMP clothing we can get you to wear." And he's like, "This is getting weird. This is getting really weird." And then they tried to make it out to be this like happy-go-lucky thing, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna do," and they wouldn't tell him what other RCMP officers were involved in this, who was supposed to be on the show too, but they made it seem like they were gonna have like a meeting the day before. They're gonna do a what do you call it, when you practice ahead of time, rehearsal.
A rehearsal. Yep.
So, but then what they did was they did like this bait and switch where they're like, "Oh, it didn't work out, so we couldn't do the rehearsal, and we were gonna do the dinner, but like it just didn't work out. So I guess tomorrow morning we'll just go right to the thing." And then he goes in to do this, and they totally switched the whole premise. The premise went from, some happy-go-lucky story about the RCMP and having been an officer to like how the RCMP were behind pulling Native kids out of their homes to send them off to residential schools. And he's like, "What? This never happened. I don't know any reports of any of this. Never part of my career." And so they tried to lampoon him for this. Turns out he's a YouTuber, and he told his story on his Canadian YouTube channel, which is kudos to the guy for getting it out there. But yeah, it's just insane what the CBC is trying to accomplish, and the hurdles and like all the people involved to try to lampoon Canadians for like a specific agenda. It's really crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're
Frances Whittleson was in there too. She was also one of them.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
They put a bunch of kids' shoes in front of her and said, "What do you think?" But she recorded all this, so she has it on video.
Yeah, well, I'm just playing with this little gizmo here, but I went and bought this recently. This is a recorder. So
Oh, cool.
if I turn it on, it starts recording. It looks like a memory stick, but it records 2 hours. And then everybody's like, "Why'd you buy that?" I'm like, because I'm becoming a little bit more cautious because I'm facing with weird fucking shit like this all the time. I mean, I got called by the CBC today, like, and same thing. I mean, they routinely call me because they want to do stories, and now I used to accept more willingly. Now I'm like, what are you trying to do, and what's going on? And I understand. I mean, when the CBC calls me, I immediately know you're trying to frame it your way, and I'm willing to go on the CBC because I've learned their game. So when they ask me a question, I answer my answer. I don't answer their question. But lately I've said to the CBC, "Go pound sand, fuck off. Like, I'm not interested." And then yeah, this became handy I had too many incidents when I was collecting signatures. So somebody shows up and starts acting all weird, I just turn that on and leave it there running. And then never know when somebody's going to try and frame you these days.
So, well, that's exactly it.
Isn't it sad that we have to worry about that? Like, we have to worry about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's 1984, dude. The government is like not on your side.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And just my ones for $10 saying they were all being set up for RCMP officers and so on. That was bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. So when I get back, I already messaged Clinton. I was like, "Yeah, let's have you on the show. We'll chat about it." So
Cool.
we'll get more information about it.
Right on.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming out.
Especially Myron tonight. Like he's been super
Yeah,
generous.
really, really appreciate that, my man.
The new Rob
It's-
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I haven't seen him in a minute. Yeah. Well, hopefully get him back as well. And thank you to everybody who came out for this. I can't see the chat, or I can't see any of the numbers or anything. So really appreciate it. And I'll be back in North America, but I'll be in Texas for next week. So we'll have to do this again, I guess.
I'll be here. Yeah.
Okay.
This way. But yeah, I'll be in Texas for next week. Then I'll be back.
Figure
It's
it
a
out.
big thing. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. And of course, thank you, Marty and Yuji, for making this possible.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to next week. Cheers, folks.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Bye.